Hello, everybody. My name is Jared Altick, and I'm here with Kaleb Sackett. Kaleb, how are you?
I'm doing excellent, Jared. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. Well, last night I sent you a text fairly late and said, hey, let's do a little bit of podcasting. I have all the equipment set up. Give me a list of everything you're looking forward to this year. How'd that go?
I mean, I don't know if it's exhaustive necessarily, but frankly, it wasn't that hard. I took 5 minutes and wrote down, here's some things I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah, I did the same. I jotted down a few things. In fact, the only nervousness I have is that there might be something like really obvious that I'm forgetting, but I came up with several items just right away. Do you mind if I go first?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, first thing I had was babies in the church nursery. We are just about to restock. And we're going to have several newborns this spring, really even immediately this winter. And that's really exciting to me. I mean, we seldom go very long without a newborn in this church, but we're going to have several coming up.
Yeah, having 3 born in like a 6 to 8 week succession doesn't happen all that often, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's fun, especially for a church our size. I think I like that a lot. That makes me happy. I don't really spend a lot of time in the nursery, but just the thought of it just makes me really happy.
Well, I guess I better get the obvious one out of the way in my life. Piggybacking off of what you just said, I am looking forward very much to the birth of my son, me and my wife's first child. It'll be the first of those 3 babies, Lord willing, to be born and be in the church nursery. But yeah, my poor wife, she's 38 and a half weeks pregnant, and she is just ready to go. And we're just really looking forward to meeting him.
I bet. Yeah, you guys are keeping that baby name a strict secret.
Well, this is the thing. Jared keeps on making up names and throwing them out there.
I've given several reasonable suggestions.
Or he'll try and be like, so what's his name again? See if he can stump me or catch me up.
I'm hoping to trigger that natural reflex that all teachers have where they want to give correct information. So if I keep giving the wrong name, eventually you'll correct me, but it hasn't worked yet. All right. Well, another thing I have is actually another church-related one. I'm really eager to have the Easter sunrise service.
Yeah.
And we didn't have Easter at the church last year.
Right. I mean, Easter existed. It happened.
Oh, yes. Easter happened. We didn't have Easter
weren't here
at the church.
At the building. That was a bummer.
It was. I mean, I didn't realize how much that meant to me because I'm not even a breakfast person. We have a sunrise service at 7 and then a breakfast, and then we clean up, and then we have regular church services. And that's just kind of the routine. I guess I don't think about it that much until it was missing.
Yeah.
And I really missed it. And I'm eagerly looking forward to it this year.
Absolutely. Well, I've got some church-related things, too. One thing I'm looking forward to, hopefully, is church camp this summer.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
It's looking fairly likely that it'll happen, I think, and I'm supposed to dean the high school week of camp. And
I have that on my list.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Kids going to church camp.
I'm just ready for it. So many of our kids have missed out on doing the types of group building and soul building things that they normally would get to do. There's a few special trips or conventions that you get to go to, and I still believe in the validity of church camp, and I think it's important, and I'm excited. Not just for myself to be there, but I'm excited for our kids to be there too. Yeah.
I think that church camp might be really impactful for kids that have been basically at home. I mean, some kids are going to school, but they've been home way more this last year than probably ever in their lives. And so I think this will be great. I'm really looking forward to loading up the church van and taking a bunch of kids to church camp and that kind of thing. I think I'm looking forward to that too. So that was actually one of mine also. So do you have another one?
Sure. Well, sticking with the church theme, this is something that has already been happening, but it's going to keep happening in the future, and it's Wednesday family night. I'm excited about that. Yeah. It's a program I put a lot of work and time into. It's basically our Wednesday church, essentially. And it's been a good semester so far, and I'm excited to just keep on seeing it. And today's actually a Wednesday, so we have Wednesday family night tonight, and I always get excited. There's just kind of like a little buzz in my soul, about it's Wednesday family night. Great.
Yeah, we expect smaller numbers on a weeknight like this than what we'd have on like a Sunday morning, but once you make that adjustment, I'm always really encouraged by how many people attend, even with COVID-19 and all sorts of lockdowns and whatever. When we've been able to have Wednesday family nights, they're pretty well attended, and that really makes me happy.
Yeah, me too. I always look forward to it.
One of my items on my list is traveling for vacation. We were really, really fortunate. My wife and I got away for a few days in January of last year, right before things started to shut down. And so we had about as late a vacation as you could have before things got weird. And man, am I missing that, because our vacations have been getting canceled. And so we haven't really done anything or traveled anywhere, and we're just champing at the bit. We're eager to have that back in our life again.
Yeah, you've had a few canceled or rescheduled, and I hope for your sake you get to go on one of those. About time.
I hear that all the time. People eager for me to go away. Yeah. All right, what else do you have on your list?
I'm excited for just time with family. I anticipate that we will have family coming in for the birth of our son, but just in general, I'm just excited to see them, keep on spending time with them, whether it's around the holidays or during the summer or when they come for the baby or anything like that. I just really like seeing them, and I'm looking forward to more of that.
That's awesome. I assume you'll probably have people coming fairly quick after you have the baby. Is that some families have like the mother-in-law stays for a week or something? Do you have that kind of setup? Or
well, we haven't had like a formal declaration or anything. I would not be surprised if my wife's mother stayed for a little extra bit.
Sure.
But because of how things are with COVID right now, they can't come to the hospital or anything like that.
Oh, yeah.
Which, you know what, is okay,
sure.
because we'll spend a couple days by ourselves, get our bearings a little bit, and then go home, and then they can just meet him there in the comfort of our home, and things can be a little more relaxed of a setting.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. One of the things I'm looking forward to is movies and like new seasons of TV shows and stuff.
Oh yeah, so many of those got postponed.
And a lot, yes. There's kind of a hiatus where there wasn't very much being produced, and some of that has started trickling back. Basically, everything that I'm aware of that was filmed before the pandemic has been edited and released and finished over the last year, and now there's going to be, and we're in kind of a dry spell, and it's going to be a little bare probably through the rest of this calendar year. But eventually things are going to get
we'll have to find other things to do besides TV and movies.
Yeah, I'm not saying all of that is good.
Whatever will we do? No, but there's exciting things.
And there are a few nuggets out there that I think are pretty worthwhile that we're just waiting on, and they've all been postponed and delayed and that kind of thing. And so there's hopefully some good content coming down, but I'd like to see what's coming down the pike.
Sure, absolutely. Well, something I'm looking forward to is playing more board games. I enjoy board games. I play them a lot, and I play them a lot with my wife, but I also am kind of itching to get more people over to our home and play games with them and spend time with them. It's just a way to spend time with people, essentially.
Yeah.
It's going to get a little bit tough for a few months after our son is born, and I realize that, but I'm still going to try and fit him in with my wife whenever we can. If we have some time to ourselves and we're not sleeping, if we've got half an hour, maybe let's just play a game and chat together.
Yeah, because you guys also play some really long board games. What's maybe the longest?
We have a mix. What's the longest that we play?
Yeah. I know people play Monopoly for like 3 hours or
goodness.
something. But
I have some games that are kind of longer that Laura's like, I don't even want to look at that game. But, there are some games where one session might be an hour and a half or 2 hours, possibly.
Okay. That's not
Yeah,
marathon.
we don't play any of like the 4 to 8 hour games that are out there.
Mercy. Yeah. Baby will definitely interfere with that. Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. Okay. Another thing I'm looking forward to are baptisms that are witnessed by the whole church. In our church, we have both baptisms that are like on a Sunday morning and everybody's there, and like we fill the whole sanctuary over at the Brower Building, and we also have baptisms that are just a few witnesses. We don't necessarily, I've baptized people on Thursday afternoons and Tuesday nights and, whenever. We don't require that they be in front of a large audience. But with COVID, we definitely haven't had that. We've had weeks where we've not had church at all and that kind of thing. And I'm really looking forward to that kind of normalcy. I think that'll be a benchmark in my mind that, okay, things are normal and we're going to pack back over in the smaller sanctuary and watch a baptism together. And I think I don't know when that'll happen next, but that I think that'll mean a lot to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, the rest of mine all have to relate to the big thing getting ready to happen in my life with my son.
Okay.
One of those things is taking walks. I'm really just excited the weather's going to be, turning the corner here and getting warmer and warmer. And we got this nice, slick stroller. And I'm excited to go out on family walks. And there's going to be 3 of us. And that's kind of cool. And you know what? Babies are magnets for people. So I feel like we're going to get to have some cool interactions with neighbors and other people who just want to stop and see the cute little baby. And that's a good thing.
I actually have this on my list too, not taking walks with your baby, but taking walks this summer.
Yeah.
I went out on a walk Monday of this week. We had
Me too.
had a break in the winter weather, and when I went home, I changed clothes and went out and walked.
Had to take advantage of it.
It was glorious. Oh, it was so nice. Absolutely. That was fantastic.
Well, when it goes from negatives in the temperature to 50 degrees, you basically it's a prerequisite. You have to get outside.
Yeah. So summer walks was one of mine also. So give me another one, Caleb.
Well, I'm excited to see what my son will look like. It's tough to have that visceral connection with someone that you don't actually know. And like, I obviously know he's in my wife's womb, but it'll take on a new level of realness to me to like actually see him and hold him. And I want to know. It's kind of like a Christmas gift. Like, what's he gonna look like?
Yeah.
That's just something I think about and wonder about. And I can't picture it in my mind because every human is unique. And I'm really excited to see what he's going to look like.
Well, I'm sitting across from you now, and I'm imagining that he may bear some resemblance to you. And so I take away the glasses and the scruff, and I picture he might have that shock of brown hair. He might have, your eyes, your nose, or whatever. It'll be fun to see what he looks like. That'll be exciting.
Yeah. Well, and there's always the debate, right? Does the baby look more like the mom or more like the dad, or a 50-50 split?
Yep.
So, and of course, babies' looks change pretty, to a decent extent over the course of that first year or two. I mean, a newborn does not bear striking resemblance to a 1-year-old, really.
No. And I have trouble spotting, people like, oh, what a beautiful baby. I'm like, it kind of just looks like a baby to me. I have trouble really distinguishing those newborns one from the next. When they get up 6 months, 9 months, now you're seeing really distinct. Yes, this looks like how the person's going to look the rest of their life. And you really start to see some of those features develop, and so that'll be fun. That'll be neat. Okay, I am going to have my 25th wedding anniversary. My wife and I have been married 25 years this June.
That's awesome.
And so we're coming up on that, and that is very exciting. We've been together almost 30 years, and been married
a pretty
for
big
almost 25
number.
Yeah,
it's a pretty big.
Is that
stepping stone.
Silver anniversary?
I believe 25 is silver.
Something
so
like that.
Is 50 gold? Is that right?
I think so. Wow. See, this is not a list
Not
that
our
I've really
thing.
ever looked at very closely. But I'm pretty sure that's right. And so, yeah, the big 25. And so we have a trip planned. We actually were supposed to take it last week and it got canceled. It got postponed. And so we're going to take it in June, hopefully.
Maybe
if
actually
people are
around your
traveling.
anniversary.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Actually, the month of our anniversary, we hope. And man, I'm really looking forward to that. I just really love my wife and love the relationship that we have, and it'll be fun to celebrate it.
For sure. All right. Back to the baby thing. I am looking forward to very specific moments where my son will actually be asleep and I will be holding him and just be walking around the house or sitting in a chair or something like that. And it's these moments of like calmness and silence and serenity. And I just want to take those opportunities to pray and just like walk with God while I'm holding my son. And I can just like very vividly picture that in my mind. And so I'm looking forward to those moments.
Yeah, those are special. I've got a lot of treasured memories of rocking my children to sleep or having them fall asleep on my chest and praying over them, singing to them, that kind of thing. And so that'll be special for sure. Now for something completely different.
All right.
I'm looking forward to rocket launches. I have really gotten into space exploration and that kind of thing. It's something I liked as a small child, during the heyday of the space shuttle launches. But now you've got not just NASA, but you've got all these different private companies, SpaceX and Blue Origin, Rocket Lab, ULA. You got all these different companies that are building rockets. Some of them are for NASA. Some of them are for their own private commercial purposes. And the rockets are all so different. I mean, I think a lot of people say, "Oh, a rocket, tall, pointy, pointy end up, flamey end down." That's all they need to know. And some of these rockets, work on different types of fuels, and some of them come back and land and are reusable, and others there's going to be this Blue Origin rocket that is ginormous. It's going to be so big, and it just is really neat the kind of leaps in technology we're going through right now. And because there's so many of these rockets, I mean, there's a launch or a test like a static fire or whatever happening almost every week. And so there's a regular, here's another rocket. There's almost always video on the internet of what's going on, usually live. There's exciting stuff. We landed a rover on Mars this week. I mean, there's just a lot of space-related, technology-related things going on right now. It's all, bleeding edge, really exciting new technology. I'm really enjoying that.
Sure.
And for the next several months, I anticipate there'll be just a steady stream of that kind of stuff coming down the pike.
Well, and I enjoy, asking you questions about it, and you really get into it, and you're excited, and it's not that I don't care about this stuff. It's just not like the thing that I spend my time looking into or researching. So I'm a sieve receiving it from you.
Well, how would you have time for your board games if you were busy watching rocket launches, right? You got to pick and choose, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right,
We each have our hobbies and habits.
What do you have next?
Well, going back to my son again, not only am I looking forward to seeing what he's going to look like, but I'm looking forward to seeing his personality develop. Yeah. And there's only so much of that in the early goings on.
Sure.
But man, within just a few months, you really start to see things, the way that they'll smirk, with their lips or the way that they cock their head or something like that. I'm just really looking forward to seeing those things. And I know I'm not going to be able to converse with him at a meaningful level anytime soon. That'll take a couple of years, but I'm just looking forward to seeing what kind of person he's going to be.
Yeah. Well, and some of that interaction happens really early.
Right.
Like our second son thought everything was funny. And so he laughed at the drop of a hat. And anything anybody did, he just thought was hysterical. He was the best audience ever. Where our fourth son was more the comedian. Graham had a very clear concept in his mind as a baby that he could make other people laugh. And would just seem to delight in being silly and getting other people to giggle. And so my other two boys and my daughter didn't really have either of those extremes really pronounced. I mean, every child does some, but those two, I had one that just laughed at everything, and another one that was really eager to make people laugh.
Yeah.
And that was happening before they were verbal. And so it's fun. It's exciting. I'm glad you'll enjoy it a lot. I have no doubt. I have no doubt.
Well, what's yours? Your next one.
I'm really looking forward to the next Chiefs season. I know they just lost a Super Bowl, but they also just won one a year ago, and it's basically the same team still.
I will look forward to it come September. See, here's my thing. There will come a point this summer where I will crave Chiefs football. I want it. But when you get 5 or 6 straight months of it, for me, I'm like, clean break. Like, they lost and that was disappointing, and I just said, okay, I'm not thinking about them again for the next 3 or 4 months. I just would rather do other things with my time.
Right.
And I'll get excited about it later when we get closer. So I will be excited about it. I'm just not yet. I'm just take a break.
I used to be year-round football because I was into fantasy football, and so I never took a break. I mean, we were thinking of mini camps and free agency and all that stuff during the off season. And the last couple years, I've backed away from that. And in fact, I had a couple years back where I basically didn't watch football, and so I just made a clean break. And then the Chiefs had, Patrick Mahomes, and they were real exciting to watch. And the Chiefs have kind of helped me get back into it. Well, now, the Super Bowl ended a couple weeks ago, and now I'm like watching free agency and I'm like looking at trade rumors and whatever. And I'm like really geeking out on it again. And so I'm excited to see how the Chiefs will do.
Yeah, my sports focus is on Blues hockey right now.
What's hockey again?
Yeah. Okay. You Kansas Cityans.
All right. You have another one?
Yeah, absolutely. I am excited to watch my wife be a mother and see those aspects of her personality and I've seen her so often nurture and love on and care for other people's kids. But having gotten to see her do that with something that came from her,
right. Right.
And I just love her a lot, and I like watching her grow and blossom and bloom as a human being. And I am really looking forward to seeing those things and just being like, yeah, you're awesome. I love you, and I love how you provide and take care for our son. And that's going to be really special, I think.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. Yeah. Yeah. I'm looking forward to Christmas in person with the whole family. We did Christmas and really every holiday this year. We go by my mom and dad's garage, and they would be there all masked up, and they would like leave something at the threshold of the garage. We like come in that far and pick up or drop off and then retreat.
Not quite the same as sitting around the table, is it?
I'd be okay if we never have to do that again. And so being able to just take an afternoon or whenever and have hours of just spending time together and enjoying each other and having that kind of connection and intimacy and bond. I mean, that's the way families ought to be. And what we've had to do because of the pandemic and my dad's cancer and that kind of thing, I don't ever want to have to do that again. That was unhealthy and not fun. And I'm so looking forward to these different holidays. Christmas in particular, I think means a lot to me personally. I love giving gifts to my children and that kind of thing. And so I'm really wanting that back, both with my parents and my in-laws, and I'm just really eager for that.
Awesome. Well, that's great. Well, I've got one more.
Okay.
I am excited for people to see a different side of me that maybe they haven't witnessed before.
Okay.
Specifically with like watching me be a father and interact with my child.
Yeah.
And I feel like people sometimes assume that men are really stoic and cold and insensitive and stuff like that. And that's just not true.
No.
In fact, there was a time I remember where we were pretty new here, and I think my wife and I were signed up to do nursery during Sunday school, and I think I got to the nursery first and was kind of doing the transfer, of people who were doing the nursery during the worship hour to myself. And one of the people who was in there was like, "Wait, it's just you at the moment?" My wife was off doing something else. She was like, "I'm going to go get someone." And I felt so insulted in that moment. I was like, "You don't think I can keep a little human alive for 5 minutes?" I don't got to do much here. The bar's pretty low.
Yeah.
But I want people to see that, like, oh, wow, other fellow human beings of the male persuasion can be so loving and gentle. And, I like seeing the fathers in our church interact with their children in those types of ways. And so I'm excited to get to do that and have people learn more about me and know more about me and be vulnerable and exposed to the congregation in that way.
Yeah. 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 My last item is I'm really looking forward to no hesitation handshakes and hugs.
Oh, yeah.
I had a police officer come up and reach out to shake my hand. And I was just the other day, and I realized that I hesitated. And he's vaccinated, I'm vaccinated. We're fine. And yet I hesitated. And in fact, I had one of those awkward, like I just got the end of his fingers handshakes.
Those
I
are
was
the
like, I hate
worst.
those. I was like, let's start over.
Start over. Redo.
But it was my fault. It was my fault. And I want to get to a place where if someone wants to come up and, give me a side hug or whatever, if someone wants to come shake my hand, that I don't have this weird, oh, but you might have the plague feeling. I don't want people to just ignore a danger. I want the danger to go away. Mm-hmm. And I want that to not be something that lives rent-free in our head.
Right. You don't want it to linger on.
No. I'm really, really worried that there's people who are going to live in 2020. I mean, this is now, as we're recording, February of 21, but they're going to live in 2020 for the rest of their lives. And when it's dangerous, you should take precautions. But when the danger ends, it's okay to come out and be in the sunshine again.
Well, and I think that's part of the reason why you sent me this text late last night, just because it's so easy to see doom and gloom or be pessimistic or, yearn for the things of yesteryear, but there are so many things to look forward to in life.
Yes.
And God has given us the means with which to live life and to live it abundantly. And that doesn't just mean spiritually. It means in everything. God has given us really, really good things to take advantage of.
Through Jesus Christ, he's made us new creations now.
Yeah.
Not just later. Not just, oh, yes, someday I'll get to go to heaven and leave this miserable world behind me. He's made us new creations now. And there are signs of the beauty and majesty of his creation right now. Even in its broken state, it's pretty good. It can be pretty beautiful and pretty lovely, from a newborn baby to a majestic sunset. There are signs of how well God made this universe in its broken state. Imagine how good it's going to be later. I mean, it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
But there's still good things here too. And I want people to live in hope and to be free from the slavery of fear. I just think as Christians, I think the gospel message compels us to move that direction. And certainly there will be bad times. There'll be wars and famines and terrible things, I'm sure. But that doesn't have to live rent-free in our head. And I'm eager to look forward to things again.
Yeah, me too. The future's bright.
Absolutely. Thank you, Caleb.
Yeah, thank you, Jared.